Hello, invisible people.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome to We Reckon, a Southern Chronicle of 2020. We are so excited to have you here with us tonight. We want to recognize that this project, first and foremost, just to say hello, welcome, glad you made it here, glad we made it here.
Yes.
And say that this project would not have happened without the stories of our community members, the hard work of our interviewers, devisers, and performers, and the financial support of Out of Hand Theater, C4 Atlanta, and Georgia Humanities. My name is Miranda DeBusk. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I am one of the coordinators for We Reckon. And this is Amina McIntyre, my co-coordinator.
Hey, she, her, hers. Also, I'm so excited to be here. So, We Reckon was actually born out of a need to manifest positive creation while archiving the unprecedented events of the past year and a half. So last year, I sent a note to Leo Sario and to Out of Hand Theater saying, hey, I have this weird idea. I don't really have time to do it, but I have this great idea that I think we should be doing. And they were like, hey, why don't you reach out to this wonderful people at Notch Theater? So shout out to Ashley Teague. They gave us all of this information. And then they were like, hey, Miranda DeBusk is really interested in this too. You should meet Miranda. And I was like, all right, great. Let's meet Miranda. We met, instantly clicked, and understood that this is the kind of things that happens in a pandemic where you literally just meet somebody, say, hey, we have some similar ideas and interests. Wouldn't have had time to do this otherwise. Why don't we just kind of connect and see where we are with everything? And so We Reckon was born. So we invited from there artists from the community to collect interviews about the authentic experience of the year. We archived those interviews. We actually did interviews in addition to the artists ourselves. We used them to create the piece that you're going to see tonight. And trust me, this performance is absolutely brilliant. And we're so proud of what the people, what our devisers and what our artists have all created. So we've shared this work collectively as a team with our interviewees and with an invited audience. And so we are excited to share it with you tonight in our first public performance. So I do want to make sure that you all know that even though we are wonderfully sponsored by Out of Hand and Georgia Humanities, and we have been partnered fiscally with C4 Atlanta, that we also are accepting donations because we always do want to be able to fund more things like this. So please know that we do have a PayPal link, PayPal at Lady Loves Her Pen, which is the company that we've been working under in order to have just to collect the foundations and the monies. And all of that money will go toward our artists and to continue supporting the work that we do. So I'll turn it back over to you, Miranda.
Thanks, Amina. We would like to take a moment to acknowledge that while we are all connecting virtually, much of the work on this project has taken place in Atlanta, Georgia, the unceded lands of the Muskogee people. We recognize that we are living, working, and creating within a system that benefits historically and currently from the stolen lands, stolen labor, and stolen lives of our Black communities, Indigenous communities, and communities of color. We hope that by creating space to give our stories, to receive the stories of others, and to discuss our experiences, that we can promote healing, growth, compassion, and action. As we are discussing the stories of our recent experiences, we also encourage folks to research the historic stories and experiences in your area. Please note that this show contains discussions of the COVID-19 pandemic, death, and racism. It includes mention of slavery and sexual assault. You are encouraged to navigate away from this piece at any time if you need. It will be available for a week afterward if you'd like to come back, and you can always contact us and we're happy to share. Our runtime is approximately 1 hour and 15 minutes. And following the streaming of this performance, we will reconvene on Zoom, and a link will be posted here for your convenience. And we would love to have you for a discussion about the communal experience, our paths moving forward, and a celebration of this work. Thank you. That's what we have, and we hope you enjoyed the show. Lexi, roll tape.
6 interviews, after pinpointing a few highlights from those interviews, after reading and considering the Laramie Project and Fires in the Mirror, we have put together this tally of the past year, which by no means is meant to be absolute, suggestive, prescriptive, or dogmatic. Rather, it's an impression, a starting point, a reckoning, meant to promote or provoke a deeper, fuller viewpoint of what we and perhaps you experienced in the past year. This format is meant to allow for a reimagining of what we heard through the use of actors, spoken word, monologues, scenes. We hope it's useful, entertaining, insightful. This could be done by a cast of either 5 or 500. Today, we'll have a cast of 5.
We reckon.
A Southern Chronicle.
2020.
We are Jackie,
Cindy. Billy.
Russ,
Candy.
Justena.
Tanya. Adaye.
Latifah.
Andrew,
Eric.
Hey.
Christy.
Black male.
White woman.
non-binary,
She, her, hers.
He, him, his. Latinx.
Indian.
Colombian,
Bulgaria.
They, them.
No preferred pronoun.
Mother.
Daughter.
Grandparent.
father,
Wife. Husband.
Student.
Teacher.
Playwright.
nurse,
Lawyer.
Hairdresser.
CEO.
Barista.
reverend,
Minister.
Med student.
Tennis pro.
Artist.
speech pathologist,
A citizen of humanity.
Of all ages.
20.
80.
62,
49.
32.
24.
79. Oh, I guess I'm 89.
a pastiche,
A tapestry.
A reckoning.
We reckon.
A Southern Chronicle.
2020.
I'd heard there's a case over in Norcross.
A case of what? The flu?
I think it might be different.
I think you're overreacting.
Norcross.
One case.
How many cases do we need to take it seriously?
Pass me the hammer.
I'm going home, and I'm taking my hammer with me.
You're not going to get paid.
I'm still going home.
I'm going to get paid time and a half, whether I have your hammer or not.
My mom has a pre-existing condition and I'm fearful. I mean, if she gets it, she's dead. Like, there's no way around it. And that freaks me out, just knowing that she could get sick.
I think the toughest thing for me in this has been how many people are not taking it seriously and then feeling like I'm wrong or there's something wrong with me when I am, you know?
We moved during the pandemic. We literally don't know any of our neighbors. There was one lady that was walking around with her daughter and she waved from across the street and I waved back. And that is literally the extent of my human connection with my neighbors.
Medically, it's really scary. I have been lucky enough. I don't think I've had it except back in February, before we knew what it was. They couldn't figure out what I had. So, who knows?
Hello. Oh, I am sorry to pop in late, sweetheart. My last call ran over. I hope you weren't waiting long. Oh, your mic is turned off. It's no, I can't hear you yet. It's the button on the lower, no, it's still not that. It's really easy. If you just click the still no, button, lower left corner, you just click on the microphone. You see it?
How about now? Can you hear me?
Wonderful. I can hear you perfectly.
Oh, thank goodness. Everything is on Zoom right now, and I'm just trying to catch up. I never thought I would miss being in person for a meeting that could have been an email, but here we are. Not that this could have been an email, but it's.
I love Zoom. I have talked to people this week I haven't seen in ages without having to leave my kitchen table. I even spoke with your mother just this morning. And it is so good to see so many smiling faces, not just floating voices like on the telephone.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
Just so you know, there wasn't a speck of anything in your teeth. You are picture perfect in every way.
Oh gosh, I didn't mean to. For you. Thank you, Aunt Carol.
You are absolutely welcome.
Come to the party. We're young. What difference does it make?
My parents, they're old and not in very good shape.
We'll keep our social distance. We'll wear masks. We'll be outside.
It's true, I haven't seen anyone in a while, except my parents.
Doesn't that make you feel depressed? And depression will kill you. Come on. We miss you.
I miss you too.
Haven't we endured this long enough?
Yeah, it's been a whole month.
It was a year.
A stressful year.
A virtual year.
Reflecting distrust.
Questions that weren't answered.
Questions that were answered.
Sometimes in the wrong way.
To me.
Maybe not you.
Learning to pivot.
Understanding what it means to be cramped.
Learning about our limits.
George Floyd.
Breonna Taylor.
Ahmaud Arbery.
Things happening in our own backyard.
Affecting an election.
A selection.
Of who will choose to lead.
45.
Biden.
Kamala.
Warnock.
Georgia going blue.
Georgia going blue.
It blows my mind. 200,000 deaths.
Hey friends, welcome to Action Items. I'm one of your hosts, Kmar.
Hey, and I'm B Moore, you're the host. Welcome, good people.
It is week, I don't know, in the panorama, and
Potomac.
pickle juice, it's fine, but I mean, what is time?
Exactly. What is time when you are in a Panasonic?
Right. Anyway, we hope you are all taking care of yourselves as best as you can in the panini. Okay, let's get started. B Moore, what are your top 5 songs this week?
Ooh, yes. Good question. I'm listening to the Hamilton soundtrack a little too much.
Hamilton.
Yes, Hamilton. I just saw it for the first time a few weeks ago, and I get it.
Yeah, what?
The hype around the show. I see it now.
You have come to the light.
Indeed. But other than that, the other songs I'm listening to, The Recipe by Sir.
Toxic masculinity anthem.
Yes, but if it can't be toxic, would it be good music? And Tank and the Banger song, Colors Change.
Oh, I love Tank and the Bangers.
Yes. But yeah, that's pretty much the Hamilton soundtrack alone goes over 5 songs. What about you, sis?
You know, in this Polly Pocket, I've been trying to stay as positive as I can.
Polly Pocket, I can't.
I don't make the rules in the Pantene Pro V. Anyway, I have been taking it back to Destiny's Child, Happy Face.
Okay. Survivor album vibes and pumpkin spice.
Right? Also, Rihanna, Auntie.
Enough said. So really, we should have said top album for this week.
Probably.
Okay. What do we have next?
Let's take a quick break to pay the bills.
Stuck in the house, need things to do.
Well, Miss Rona has the perfect remedy for you.
Yes, with a list of YouTube channels, recipes, and DIY projects, you can find the perfect package for just your needs. If you are the artsy type, look into Miss Rona's creative package filled with YouTube motivations, courses for activating your creative mind and making use of hours of the day.
If you are the home improvement type, check out Miss Rona's design package. Comprised of Home Depot supply lists, materials, and hacks to transform your home.
If you are the kitchenista and or chef who is looking to explore more food options, look into their foodie package. I personally have been investing in this package and gotten the best recipes for pound cake, cookies, and even deals on appliances like an air fryer and stuff.
Ms. Rona has not forgotten about you, social media influencers. Check out the Let's Go Digital package with step-by-step TikTok dance tutorials, graphic design presets, and a weekly social media trend list so that you are up to date on what to post and comment about for social media.
Those packages and more are available when you visit MissRonaLLC.com for more information.
Welcome back. And now we are wrapping up with our action items for the week. Miss Thomas, share it with us.
Yes, thank you, Kmar and B More. We have just a few action items this week as you navigate the Procter & Gamble. Action item number 1, wash those dishes. We know you keep walking by them. This is your sign to do it. Action item number 2, wash your clothes. You have no more clothes to wear. Yes, I know you are inside, but that shirt and briefs combo needs a refresher. And finally, action item number 3, rest. It is okay to rest this week. Decline that meeting, request that day off. We know your eyes hurt. We know there is some Zoom fatigue. Just put it on the calendar now.
And that is all the time we have today for the Action Items podcast. Stay tuned next week for another day in the peanut butter jelly.
We love y'all and take care.
My husband's been gone 2 years now. I started dating again. I found dating was fascinating because you don't know much about people. I dated one guy who had a degree in science from Clemson, and I told him I had read something in the New Yorker about finding bones that were 40,000 years old that were discovered on the Bering Strait off the coast of Chile. That's impossible, he said, with an Earth that's only 6,000 years old. It used to be that we'd ask, do you smoke? Are you a scammer? Do you date? Now it's, do you believe the Earth is 6,000 years old and Donald Trump is the best thing that ever happened to this country? Dating is so funny these days.
Thanks for the lift.
Can I walk you to your door?
That's okay. I can get there myself.
Good night, kiss. COVID.
Your bumper sticker.
Oh, that?
Next time I'll check the back of the truck first.
I will say this was probably one of the hardest years of my marriage. My husband, he's an introvert. I am a social butterfly, and I struggled. There were nights where I would be in bed crying because I was so overwhelmed with not being able to have family and friends over, not being able to go out. I felt like that was all being ripped away from me. This year was a testament to getting through the ugly, because this was ugly. It wasn't like we were on the brink of a divorce or anything, but it was difficult.
I'm single and alone in my house. So there were points in midsummer where I got very depressed. Like the lowest that I've been in a very, very long time. I didn't see anybody. I didn't go out of the house except go get groceries. My best friend is in Mexico. She was going to stay with me, but she had to go back because she couldn't get enough work to allow her visa to renew. I adopted a dog. He helps.
Oh, good. You made it back. So how are you? How are the kids? I haven't seen y'all since that last church choir practice back in February.
We're doing fine. That's actually why I want to talk. We're looking for...
Wait, just 1 minute, sweetheart. I have got to go check out the back door. My kitty hasn't shown back up yet. And before I get settled again, I just want to look and see if she's waiting to come in. Hello, kitty. Minerva, kitty. Come on, sweet girl, Minerva. Oh, she's not there. I hope she's with another friendly person. I've only had her a little over a month. I've been feeding her all summer, so she decided that she wanted to come and stay with me. I let her out every day, and she comes back when she's ready. She spends the evening inside, and she lights out after breakfast. I let her out this morning, and she came in for lunch, but then she went out again, and I haven't seen her come back yet. Now, most of the time when I open the door, she hears it, and she comes running. I hope she's all right.
I hope so, too.
She's not really mine, you know. I take care of her, but I think she really belongs to the universe, kind of, and she just stays here with me. I just hope that wherever she is safe and warm and fed and okay.
I hope so, too. So, I wanted to talk to you about...
It's so strangely still in here with her being gone. Up until a few weeks ago, I had 5 kitties around the house. And one of my sweet babies passed away. And so then I had 4. And without Minerva over here right now, I've only got 3. It's so quiet.
What I wouldn't give for a bit of quiet.
It was quite an event getting her, let me tell you.
Oh, I'd love to hear, really, but I do have a question.
I am not generally short-tempered. You know me. I just take and I take and I take, and then I walk away. But this time I went crazy, and it was all around this kitty situation. And early this summer, Minerva had babies, and she moved all those babies into my yard. And my neighbors, when the babies were old enough, they offered to help catch them and take them to the shelter. I hadn't realized what a control freak that I had become about those cats. I mean, feeding them every day, and now they want to take over. And then there was this one little kitty that just didn't want to be caught. And one day I'm out for a walk, and I get a text from my neighbor saying, I brought the little black and white kitty over to the shelter, and I lost it. I just lost it. What? And you took the kitty away, and you didn't bring him up to say goodbye? I was furious beyond belief.
I'm sorry that happened.
Eventually, I apologized, and I admitted that I was overwhelmed by the pandemic, and I hadn't realized how much energy I'd placed in these little kitties' survival, and my reaction was overblown. She was just trying to help, and I was taking affront. But it's better now. I dropped a cake off on their porch, and it's been fine ever since.
You do make a fantastic cake. I'm glad to hear it. So, about the.
I did call over to the shelter though and explain, and they brought the little guy over to me so that I could say goodbye. I thought that was nice.
That was very nice of them. Hey, real quick, before I have to sign off, I wanted to ask if you could, hello?
Amusement park.
No.
Playground.
Not today.
Picnic.
Yes, as long as it's socially distanced with masks and no interacting with other kids, except your 3 sisters.
I'll watch another video.
Check with me next month.
Next week?
Next year.
This year, oh my God.
Did I learn?
Check expectations.
Lead with grace.
Surviving is more than about money.
It's like an absurdist play. Wearing a mask, don't wear a mask, wear 2 masks.
Bob?
Sneeze.
Wiping things down.
Wiping things down.
Wiping things down.
Virtual work?
Virtual play.
Virtual school. I'm a teacher. So when this first hit, I remember making a joke about, man, can we get like a week off so they can clean the schools up real good and we could just kind of go back to normal? I never in my wildest dreams would have thought that Thursday, March 12th, was the last day I was going to be with my students. We have dealt with so many kids who are, you know, their mental health has been at stake. Teachers' mental health has been at stake. It's just been tough. It's been really, really tough. Really tough.
I am deaf in one ear, but I've gotten very good over the years since childhood of reading lips. And I'm very adept with that. But this was a situation where a lot of my students are talking to me and I'm like, mask, darn it, I cannot read your lips. That's a challenge.
My oldest niece, this would have been her first year of middle school. She's never stepped foot in her school. She has no idea what her school looks like.
Yay! No school! Woo! Woo! No school! No school! Woo! 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 This sucks.
My fellow parents, I know you don't want to hear this, but didn't we agree to listen to each other, even if we agree to disagree? Understanding how hard our girls have worked to get to this point. The hours and hours of practice in the driveway, park, and gym. Recalling how frustrating it was to lose last year's state final after we held a 12-point lead into 5 minutes left. And how we made a vow that this year we were going to take it back. Honoring the commitment that the girls made to each other, the commitment that the coaches made to us, and the commitment we made to each other. I know they said only players and family, and then cheerleaders, administrators, selected students, then a few friends, and then they said masks, social distance, no cheering. Look at that, Jim. Standing room only. How many masks do you see being worn? How many masks do you see being worn properly? I know if we refuse to let the girls play, they'll hold it against us for the rest of their lives. I get that. I truly do. Hell, I'll think about it for the rest of my life, about how we're being bullied by different set of standards throughout the state. And if the administrators don't take charge, shouldn't we as parents do so? I know we said it's an individual choice, but shouldn't we stand in solidarity? Making a statement that our health, the community good, stands above the mindless leadership of those who don't understand. It's an extraordinary time. That basketball should be secondary to our girls' health. I know the sacrifices we took to make it this far, how the girls got tested and kept their distance, even wore masks to practice at least once, taking an oath to each other that they would be super careful, not going to parties, socializing with their friends, kissing their boyfriends or girlfriends. And now we must teach them to take a stand. Please don't hate me. My daughter already does. Who's with me? Anyone?
I have a lot of teacher friends, and I was really pissed the teachers were required to work through the pandemic. I felt awful about that. And yet, I made the decision to send my kids to brick and mortar school with their masks because I cannot think of another solution where my son would be able to learn. And so that was. I've made so many choices that I would not have made just because of necessity.
I don't want him to go to school.
You want to take care of him yourself?
Can't we take care of him together?
Not if I want to keep my job.
What about my job?
They're telling us it's okay to send him back to school.
Hey, do you trust them?
Come on, he's young. He's going to be okay.
What about us?
I'm exhausted.
You too.
I'm ready for a break.
I'm sorry. You'll have to get in line.
Still.
His health.
Our health.
Our physical health.
Stick it out at home?
Maybe for one more month.
Mommy, Daddy, the computer. I spilled milk on the keyboard and now it won't work.
God bless the teachers.
I'll pack a lunch.
All right, class. Class. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Jay. Hello, Jay. How are you today, Jay? Are you playing a video game, Jay? Well, if so, tell me what it is. I've reached the end of the line with Fortnite and I need something to spice up my life.
Welcome, ladies. We are the women of wisdom. We're going to dive right into it. A discussion of politics with women who identify themselves on the right and women who identify themselves on the left. My first question, who's more crazy? You, or us? Who wants to speak first? Who? Come on, ladies. How are we going to learn from each other if no one's willing to give, share, lay it out on the line? Speak! I'm sorry. I must have muted you all. No matter. Let me tell you that it all comes down to one thing: thinking beyond ourselves.
You know, it's strange. When terrible things happen, humans have this weird thing we do. We just keep going as if nothing is happening. The damn sky could cave in, and the suits on Wall Street will still go to work, stepping over the broken pieces. Or maybe I should reframe it. The custodial staff would be sent into work while those who wear suits and $300 shoes would stay in their home, typing away at their laptop, oblivious to the sufferings of the common folks. Let's not pretend this only applies to rich folks. Did you know the litmus test for the severity of a natural disaster is apparently whether the Waffle House is open? Go figure. Waffle House? Do you not get tired? I mean, I heard about a man who was asked to come into work in the middle of a wildfire. And when he said he needed to pack his family up and get them to safety, his boss continued giving him tasks for the day. Or what about the young lady who gave birth one day, and within the following days, she was back at work while her stitches were still in? Why, you ask? She needed the money and had no health insurance and no cushy job that offered maternity leave. Why is our society like this? I mean, you think in the middle of a pandemic, we figured out how to get food from a farm to people's tables rather than wasting a whole field of crops. You also think our government will understand $400 a week in unemployment isn't enough for people to forsake work. In case you're still doing the math, $400 a week for a year adds up to about $21,000. If you have rent, mortgage payments, car notes, health insurance, kids, $21,000 is like trying to buy a brand new Tesla for $10. You try. Tell me how that works for you. People are literally dying. And I mean, humanity and the lack thereof are exhausting. My hope was that our eyes would be open. Maybe they have been, but I'm not holding my breath.
300,000 deaths.
Distrust and concern about the vaccine.
But
Starting to slow down.
Slow down.
slow down.
Relax into the pace of things and not try to do too much in one day.
My elderly cousin in a nursing home was the first victim. She was recovering from a broken leg, came down with COVID and died.
I haven't touched a person in 8 months.
10 months.
A year.
We've been building toward this.
Something horrible.
That's been here the whole time.
This year?
Centuries. We are blessed to be living in this neighborhood. A house where you have your own room, a backyard to play, trains in the background, a barbecue grill, trees, birds, quiet. But be careful walking around the neighborhood alone. Is the coast clear? Not yet.
As a woman, as a Black woman, you know there's always that duplicity, like, which one do I identify with more? It's a very difficult question. I was born in 74, so I remember vividly being called the N-word. I have memories of being told, "You're cute for a Black girl." Or my favorite of all favorites, "You speak really well." I didn't expect you to speak so well. But even in all of that, I wasn't always so cognizant of the impact of it outside of myself. I mean, I have memories of racist things happening to me personally, even as late as college. I mean, I was sitting in the car with a friend of mine and we were just talking. And these two guys came up and they were yelling at us. I don't even know why they were yelling at us, but they dumped deer blood on our car. This is at the University of Georgia in the 90s. So I have these memories. But seeing it on television and watching someone lose their life, it made me go, wow. This isn't just happening to me. This is happening to every person that looks like me. I don't have any sons, but I have brothers. I have a cousin, a nephew. And who's to say they're not next? But you're not next. You know what I mean?
My husband shared a story with me when he lived in New Jersey. He comes from a fairly decent, modern, middle-class family. So his dad had a nicer car, and he was driving, and he got pulled over. And they took him out of the car and made him sit on the curb. It's freezing because it's New Jersey. And they searched his car. I think he said he was out there for 45 minutes while they were trying to find something. And so when the whole thing happened with Philando Castile, that came back up again. Because what if he got shot for making the wrong move? So all of this just heightens what I've already experienced, simply because I have more melanin in my skin. Everything has happened this year makes me realize how justice can be so blind to the point that some people choose to ignore it. And some people are calling this the year for calling people out.
Cut. 8 minutes, 46 seconds.
Cut. Now they say it was 9 minutes and some change.
Cut. Another video.
Cut. I couldn't watch it. No need to see my heart ripped out of my chest again.
Cut. She was sleeping.
Cut. He was running.
Cut. We heard the shot. We saw them ride behind him and shoot him.
Cut. We heard his breath labored, the knee on his neck.
Cut. We heard him call out for his mother.
Cut. She bled out on the floor.
Cut. The numbers, the names, the lists get longer.
Cut. The hashtags.
Cut. We applaud frontline workers, but in this case, her being an EMT didn't matter.
Cut. Your life doesn't matter.
Cut. I am tired of Black Lives Matter. They instigate things.
Cut. He just fell asleep in his car in the Wendy's drive-thru.
Cut. A police talk turned into another shooting.
Cut. A counterfeit $20 bill worth a life.
Cut. Cut, 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 cut.
Cut. Extra, extra, read all about it. More black bodies for sale.
Cut. Let's replay the videos on national TV in cycles. This is normal, right?
Cut. Let's analyze them to determine that maybe possibly we are not watching what we think we are watching.
Cut. Let's put money into body cams to show us closer footage of death.
Cut. But her boyfriend was a bad guy.
What? But he walked on an abandoned property and that looked suspicious.
Cut. Oh, but he looked like trouble.
I don't even notice the blood anymore.
The pain became so deep, so hard, so overwhelming, that now I'm numb.
Burn this shit down. Maybe the fire will cause the pain needed to feel what I need to feel in this moment.
Burn this shit down. Maybe the fire will cleanse the wounds, the scars.
I have so many cuts. The Band-Aids won't stop the bleeding.
Don't ask me how I feel. You didn't care before. No, I don't want to talk about the pain and how it consumes me.
No, don't ask me how I am.
No, I don't want your questions of concern.
Your care now is to make sure you feel good.
Keep it.
Just keep it.
I don't even notice the blood anymore.
It is a part of my being, this blood.
This blood shed for hundreds of years, seeped in the soil of our land.
Flowering roots of hatred for my brothers and sisters.
Cut.
Cut.
But
Cut.
a tragedy has occurred within our community. Our sisters, Black women, trans women, mothers, daughters, sisters, aunts, friends are going missing. Their bodies slain and their names get tossed aside and their deaths held as irrelevant, deemed too mean to have feelings and too strong to be so weak. Our slain sisters who lie before us today, nameless and unclaimed. In Judges 19, we find the story of a young woman named only as a concubine. She was brutally raped, handed over to her assailants by a disgraceful husband as he sought to preserve his own life rather than fight for hers. All she wanted was to be near to her family. She was called unfaithful. But what is loyalty when she was denied the right to choose a spouse for herself? Like the young sister in Judges, our sisters have been called everything but their names. We mourn our sisters, for they deserved much better than what they received. But here we are. We are restoring our sisters today. Sister, you are more than your sex. You are worthy. You are love. You are beautiful. Your life means something.
I am 63 years old, and I did all that stuff when I was young. I'm too tired now. I'm glad that the young people are picking up the mantle, but I don't have the strength anymore. I did go to a couple of protests this last year, but I can't anymore. I'm weary. And I feel so sad because I thought we were really beyond this point. And to find out that we're not is a very big weight on my shoulders because I realized a lot in the last 4 years. And especially this year, and I know this is going to sound harsh, but I feel like America's a lie. We've been fed a bit of goods. We were told we were the best. We were told we were this. We were told we were that. And this pandemic came and said, no, you're not. You're full of hate. You're full of anger. Your government is totally in disrepair because you didn't know how to handle this pandemic. Instead of being a unified front from the top down, we had people say, every state for themselves, every city for themselves. And because there was no unified message, here we are approaching 360,000 people dead. And then they had people turn around and say, well, that could have been worse. How? We have the most death, and you're going to spin it and say, oh, 360,000 is no big deal. It could have been 1 million and 1 billion. See what a good job we did? And then there's people who believe that.
Before the pandemic started, I thought of myself as a libertarian. You know, socially liberal, fiscally conservative. I stayed in my lane, and my lane was focused. God helps those who help themselves. That's what I believed. And then the video. How can you not feel empathy? How can you not look into the next lane? Slowing down, making us realize there's a crisis of faith. I used to think that we were all too busy to hate. Now, is it too late to rectify? Is there time to take a step back before we take a step forward?
There are folks calling it out now, not just giving it a pass like, well, you know, I got a racist uncle or whatever. Some folks are vehemently calling against it. And I think because of that, more people are unifying and they realize that it's not just a Black issue because we didn't start racism.
I saw an interview with one person on the news. I think it was CNN or something. And the person said, if I know that Black people are going to get it and gay people are going to get it and brown people are going to get it, I'd rather suffer. And it's like, they would rather hurt themselves. That's powerful hate. Allow yourself to go down the tubes just so you don't have to share a good thing with someone else. I don't understand that thought process.
God does things for a reason.
You think God is doing this?
Cleaning out the air, calling attention to our deficits, teaching us to fight back.
Don't you think it's up to us to take the next step?
I pray for you.
I don't need you to pray for me. I need you to get off your ass and do something about it.
I dreamt about Reverend Warnock last night.
What did he say?
He said to praise God and to get off my ass.
Welcome, ladies. We are the women of wisdom. We're going to dive right into it. A discussion of politics with women who identify themselves on the right and women who identify themselves on the left. My first question, who's more crazy? You or us? Who wants to speak first? Who? Come on, ladies. How are we going to learn from each other if no one's willing to give, share, lay it out on the line? Speak. I'm sorry. I must have muted you all. No matter. Let me tell you that it all comes down to one thing: thinking beyond ourselves.
Will there be a lot of changes? I don't know. I mean, that's hard for me to say. There's still going to be a sprinkles of bullshit. Excuse my French. But I think this is a good administration because we have the first African-American South Asian vice president ever. And she's a woman. So I think, yes, we'll see some changes. But how much of that, I don't know.
Seeing so many kids marching this summer and adults from different races and ethnicities and classes and backgrounds was heartening. This hard line between ideologies, it's got to stop. There is no hope for this country if we can't find some common ground.
It's such a relief. The feeling when I got my first shot a couple weeks ago, I knew going into it that I was kind of emotional about it because it felt like something was momentous. I got the shot and burst into tears. It was like nothing else I've ever felt before. It was mourning, it was happiness, it was grief, it was all sorts of things all balled up into one. And I'm sure I wasn't the only one based on how they reacted.
One of the things the COVID has robbed us of so much is physical touch for comfort. And it was so nice. Although the nurse who gave me the vaccine was in an N95 mask and goggles and gloves and a face shield and everything, she was just rubbing my shoulder. And, you know, we got through this. And we're getting through it.
Every therapist or counselor that I know, they say that in order to get through trauma, you have to talk about it as an open conversation, and you have to remove feelings because facts are facts. And we're looking at facts right now. And that's how we're going to move towards healing as a nation, when we can all talk openly and honestly.
Soil. Earth is the womb and the giver of life, of all things come from soil. And to soil, all things return. It is our foundation. The soil supports us as we walk, our homes, the trees, your car as you drive. The soil is strong and fertile. We place our soil in our bowls, knowing the foundation is set. We pay homage to our ancestors who built something out of the fragments they had. Seeds. The seed is our hope. We trust that what we plant today will one day come to be. This seed represents the work of justice. It represents us and our children, those who will carry on the torch of tomorrow. Water. Water holds memory. This glass of water was here at creation and will continue to go on long after we've gone. With this water, we pay tribute to those who have gone on, but we know their spirit is still here and ever present. It is their prayers to water and through water that continuously bring us through. To our indigenous siblings whose land we occupy. To the unreconciled past and lost heritage and culture, may we never forsake that which has come before. Your missing and murdered are in our hearts. To our ancestors snatched away from Mother Africa and distributed and sold like produce
tortured and enslaved, raped, staved, beaten into submission, and at times the main course on the master's plate. To those who were left behind forever, lost in time. To our brothers whose violent ends continually haunt us, for all the times we neglected to tell you that you were loved and worthy, and that your presence was needed. May the ancestral realm heal the pieces of yourself that white supremacy tried to beat out of you. We speak her name, for her name has been pushed aside by the patriarchy. And just as our ancestor, Brother Malcolm X, proclaimed, the Black woman is still the most disrespected, unprotected, and neglected, even in death. May the ancestral realm grant you the peace, love, and protection the physical world stole. And at last, to you, my dearest siblings, we are partners on this journey. And my hope for us all is when faced with the troubles of this life, we may find joy, may we be loved unconditionally and allow ourselves to experience love. May we take a moment to sit with nature and learn from creation. May we laugh wholeheartedly and breathe in deep. May the sun shine upon us and be gracious to us. And may we always, always have hope. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo.
I'm still here, sweetheart. I'm listening. Here, kitty, kitty. Where'd you go, sweet kitty? I'm just gonna put on some hot water for some tea. It's so gloomy outside, and that darn kitty still hadn't shown back up yet. Oh, Lord.
Are you all right?
Oh, honey, you would not believe it. I went in there to put on that kettle, and you will never believe what I found.
Cat.
Goodness, no, I wish. No, she's still out there somewhere. But I will be darned if I hadn't already made myself a cup of tea. And before I started talking to folks, well, there it was, just sitting on the counter staring at me. I'll nuke it in a bit. You know, I found myself being forgetful. They say music could help it, and I love music, so I set to practicing piano. I've never been very good at it, but I just started practicing again. I mean, playing and singing, and you know, I sing every day, but just a little bit of practice, you know, not a lot, just an hour a day or so. And I found I wasn't forgetting so many things, except of course with this cup of tea.
That's what I was calling about. I was hoping to talk to you about music. My kids are.
Honey, you don't want me to play anything. Nobody wants to hear me play. Well, almost nobody. That's one of the things. This little kitty, Minerva, I have one of those cat towers. And when she's inside, she'll sit up on the top of that cat tower. I would be playing the piano, making all kinds of mistakes, berating myself, expletives deleted, and she would just be like, la, 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 sound asleep. I would tell folks, it only goes to show you that Minerva can sleep through anything if she can sleep through my playing the piano. And that's another thing too. I was in that room the other day and she was just sitting up in her tower, looking at me. I looked up at her and I meowed at her, and she'd tilt her head and just keep looking at me like she wanted something. So I said, "What is it you want, little kitty?" And she just kept looking at me and I couldn't figure it out. And I sat down on the piano bench to think, and she meowed a bit, and I looked at her and said, "Did you want me to play the piano?" So I hit a couple of keys, and sure enough, she wanted me to come play the piano for her. She settled right in, and that's all she wanted.
Well, if it's good enough for Minerva.
I got it. There you are. I found her. I found her. She was waiting for me to play the piano all along. She must have snuck back inside this afternoon without my noticing.
So, hey, now that you found her, I'd love
Now,
to talk.
I better get to practicing. That's what she's telling me. But this has been so fun, Sugar. I hope we can talk again soon.
Wait, just oh.
What's good, bro?
Man, am I making it?
I feel that.
How's the fam?
Shit, you know, mom's out of work since they closed down some of those stores.
Damn.
Yeah, but her and my sis, they good. I'm helping where I can, so we gonna make it.
Got to.
Exactly. Ain't no other way.
Bruh, why you got that hat on in the house? You ain't hot?
Listen, man, I don't even want to talk about it.
Nah, man. Now you gotta tell me.
Look, man, I ain't been to my barber in months, and I can't cut my own hair. So,
Bruh, I'm sure it ain't that bad.
nah, man, trust me.
Bruh, for real?
Yes.
Nah, just take that hat off, man. You look crazy.
Man. All right.
Damn!
See, man, I told you it's tragic, man. It's just,
Bruh, you need to hit your LB up ASAP. Double mask and get it handled. Now that I know, I can't let you go out like that.
Bruh.
And you've been doing videos on social media like that? And ain't nobody said nothing?
Bruh, we all ugly out here.
I am glad I ain't on social media like that, because I would have got your ass a long time ago.
Damn, bro, it's like that.
Bruh, yes. Get some clippers today. Matter of fact, let me hop on Amazon real quick and get you some.
Wow.
This is a brotherhood, bro.
All right, well, make sure my address is right. 3612 Caitlain Road. Boom. Go ahead. First day delivery. Overnight. Just overnight. I'll take it. Oh, boy.
Hello. Hello. It's not good. Hello. The world has taken a huge turn, and I know life is a little scary for you.
We acknowledge you. Soon Chung Park.
You miss your friends, family, and some of you may have lost loved ones.
We acknowledge you. Hyun Chung Grant.
And dare I say that you miss school and routine? Things have changed so much in the last few weeks.
We acknowledge you. Soon Cha Kim.
You didn't get the chance to say goodbye to your friends, and you may not know how to contact them.
We acknowledge you. Young IU.
It's okay to be afraid, to feel sadness and cry.
We acknowledge you, Delana Ashley Young.
You can also find joy in this time as well.
We acknowledge you. Siao Chie Dan.
Whatever big emotions you feel them.
We acknowledge you. Dao Yong Feng.
It's been a joy getting to know you this year. And though this is not a formal semester wrap-up with pizza and yearbook signings, we make the best of our situation.
We acknowledge you, Breonna Taylor.
I want you to know, getting to teach you this year has been the sweetest gift.
We acknowledge you, Monica Diamond.
Each of you has touched my life, and I miss your smiling faces so much.
We acknowledge you, Lexi.
You are talented, and you may not see that yet, but one day I hope you see the beauty that is you.
We acknowledge you, Nina Pop.
May you forever keep your imagination and don't lose your curiosity.
We acknowledge you. Mercy Mack.
This time of pandemic will pass, and you'll be able to play with your friends again.
We acknowledge you, Drea McCarty.
Hope is powerful. Hold on to it as tight as you can. I hope to see you again in person soon. For all the lives that were taken from us, those whose names we know, and those whose names are unknown to us, but whose absence is felt within the broader community, we acknowledge you. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo.
What did we learn?
I learned to live with uncertainty.
I learned I'm in charge of my inner peace.
I learned to take care of myself.
Of my family.
Of you.
I learned opportunity from adversity.
I learned to look back in order to look ahead.
Will things get worse before they get better?
Better before they get worse?
Will it be like the Roaring '20s?
A boom leading to a bust.
Or a tale of two cities. Great if you have money, but bad if you don't.
I learned to talk to the trees, and they talk back.
Eat well.
Feel like a child again.
I discovered the joy of cooking, even though we have no dishwasher.
Woodworking.
Writing a 6-word play every day.
Committing to watching the news.
Or not watching the news.
Changing the way I communicate.
Learning to trust others.
Teaching myself to learn faster and work better under stress.
I was a reclusive person. I now crave other people.
I was an extrovert. I now crave being by myself.
What I wouldn't give to be stuck in traffic again, at least conceptually.
Please don't make me drive back to work.
I've gotten used to not wearing pants.
That are too tight.
Too loose.
I'm amazed at how wonderful people can be.
My friends and family are the best people I know.
More time with family.
Time with family.
More time with family.
I learned that I don't have to run from event to event.
I learned that I don't like social media.
I learned to speak.
I learned to listen.
I learned the meaning of one death.
450,000 deaths. 500,000 deaths. 550,000 deaths.
You learn who you are in a time of crisis.
Realizing you can only do 5 things in a day at most.
Learn new skills. Save money. Learn the stock market. Value your friends.
Learning we don't have to take on the world alone.
Dancing while walking and listening to music. Totally out of character for me, but something I'll continue to do.
Having dinner with family every night. Something I'll continue to do.
Or never do again.
I didn't think I took things for granted, but I did.
Will I listen? Will you listen with me?
If we want something different, we may have to start over.
Our advice?
Hang in there.
This will change.
Better?
Let's hope.
Pray.
Listen.
Act.
Was I muted the entire time?
You've been heard.
We'll keep listening.
We reckon.
Southern Chronicle.
2020.
Hey y'all.
Hi. Oh, that was a show. It was so great. Always. Oh my gosh. I've seen it a couple times and I'm still like, oh. Yeah.
Because it will never not be true. Like we lived that. That was life.
Really did live that. Really lived that. Wow. Wow. So we thank you all for the show. We have some people to thank formally for everything, but we do also want to invite you all, if you'd like to take a couple minutes to talk back with us, there will be a Zoom link that we'll drop in the chat. You can join us over there. I know sometimes it's hard to switch over, but don't worry, we'll stay over there. You can also just kind of congratulate the devisers who have come in, and also some of the actors who might be there to join us tonight. So I'll go ahead and start rattling off the list, and then we can just kind of go from there, Miranda. So awesome. So thank you to the University of Tennessee. Thank you for StreamYard. Mr. and Mrs. McIntyre, my parents, who were the ones who intercepted our mail quite a bit for us. It was a very funny story. B. Walton, our awesome stage manager, Lexi McKay, as always. Lexi, you are dope. Our performers, Jarrell Brown, Anthony Goolsby, Suzanne Roush, Mia Kristin Smith, Caitlain Hargraves. And also, he's not on this one, but we had a couple people who stepped in earlier for us who didn't make this particular cut, like Markell Williams. And so we want to make sure that we do shout them out. And there was one other person too, whose name I am missing, but Miranda will remember.
Bradley.
Yes, I'm sorry, Brooke Bradley. There we go. It's right there. We wrote it all down. Also, thank you and shout out to our awesome devisers, Hank Kimmel, Bridgette Burton, Dan Guyton, LaDonna Williams, Stefnie Curry, who did all of the amazing work. We actually have some pretty awesome visuals, and they're all pieces of a quilt. So we actually probably should just kind of post them everywhere because people really should see how awesome these things are. And if you felt moved to create change, be it with your time, talent, or financial giving, please head over to the link that Lexi posted for SURJ Atlanta. And they have a lot of resources for groups who could use your support, especially a lot of social justice groups. And we also want to give a shout out to United Way of Greater Atlanta and their racial equity and COVID relief and recovery efforts. Don't forget that you can also give donations via PayPal, which will go directly to our artists who were involved in this project, just to further support them in the work that they've done, because they really have done a lot of things for us. And last but not least, we absolutely have to shout out all the people who allowed us to interview them and to hear their stories, because these were all inspired by, and some of them were lifted directly from the interviews that we did. And so thank you all for everyone who was willing to share their story. Anything else we need to add, Miranda?
I don't think so.
Okay, awesome. You can always watch this. You can watch this replay for the next week. Here on the YouTube link. It also is available on our Facebook Live at We Reckon, the Facebook group. Feel free to share with family and friends who may not have been able to see it today, that it'll still be up and they can watch the replay as they like. But thank you all so much for being active part of our YouTube audience and our Facebook audience. And thank you so much. And we'll see you all in the Zoom in just a few minutes.